All right, the crew is back. Breeders' Cup Live, road to the Longines Classic. With the hype music and all, Dan Tordjman here with America's Best Racing, joined by Bram, Weinstein, Matt Bernier, and Ren Carothers. We have some live racing coming up for you. The TVG Pacific Classic is the headline race. It's a win and you're in for the Longines Classic at the Breeders' Cup. But of course, we also have the Mar Handicap, which is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Turf. And last year on this night, we did one of these shows. Bram, do you remember what happened last year on this night?
Yeah, Red King. It was Red King.
It was Red King.
United.
Yep.
And we had Billy on, and Billy freaked out. Like, we got to see in real time him freak out when he won. And wasn't that like, that was the Rispoli move, right? Didn't he pull the move in that race?
Yeah. Totally. It was all about the timing and the button. Boom, gone.
But we also, so we hit this pick 5, right? And it was Karmathon, which is tonight is also Karmathon. It's Karmathon Day. I just want to remind people, if you want to support retired racehorses, Karmathon Day, make a contribution, go to karmaforhorses.org. Matt in the house as well. Matt, we haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. How you been?
All's well. All's well. Looking forward to diving into these couple races here this evening. I think, we'll find out about the Pacific Classic. If it's a race that really is genuinely one that'll affect the Breeders' Cup Classic, it's probably too early to tell. But I think the handicap is also a really good race as well. Like you said, you got the defending champion along with United and Arklow. So, and you've got some other interesting long shots. I think it's just a couple of good races that we've got to go over.
Dan, wait a minute. We won the pick 5 last year. That was this day we won that pick 5?
It felt like 30 years ago, but yes, it was last year.
Are you guys in one? Because I wasn't invited. So
we should have, we should have done the pick 6. That carryover was near 1.9 million.
Yeah,
are you guys like alive in something that I wasn't invited to be in? Like,
no, if you weren't invited, I wasn't invited either. So don't feel bad, Bram.
No. There was no like sleeper pick 5 going on. Like it didn't happen. There's no pick 5 tonight. I separately put in a pick 4, which I am alive in.
And I just put in a pick 3. Which I'm alive in because it hasn't started yet.
Wait. So wait a minute. So you were testing my memory, and I remembered the race not winning the bet, but all you remember was winning the bet.
Yeah, well, the bet was big because it was Karmathon Day, and at Billy's urging, we put the ticket in so that we could take a portion of the winnings if we won, which we did, and we could put it towards.
We were being philanthropic. We gave money to charity.
It's like the one good thing we did last year. So
you say so.
We got good karma from giving to karma.
Dan, why didn't we do that again today? What happened?
I don't know why we didn't do it. Because we're just we're just tired and lazy and everything. And so
pandemic, rain, hurricanes in the Northeast for some reason. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's all right.
Like we want other people to do the work. And we trust you. You watching right now. I see a lot of people watching right now across the channels here on Breeders' Cup and ABR channels. We want to know who you think will win the TVG Pacific Classic. Drop your picks in the comment. Again, this is a win and you're in for the Longines Classic. Big race. We're going to get into the field a bunch. We're going to show you the Pacific Classic. We're going to show you the Del Mar Handicap. We're going to have a surprise guest come on in a little bit. That's a tease. And then aside from that, we do have another race coming up in a few minutes, which we can't show you. But since we're all talking about betting pick 3s and pick 4s, we're looking to get in a pick 3 right now, like Ren is. You do have the Del Mar Oaks coming up, race 9. Matt, you told us you would deliver a winner in the Del Mar Oaks. So who you got?
I did not say that. Don't false advertising. I said I'd talk about it and hopefully get you going in the right direction. I have to be honest. I don't even know that the public has the right horse favored in here. Going global makes plenty of sense, but I don't understand why a horse like Madoni isn't favored in a spot like this, or even if you want to talk about the East Coast invader in here, Fluffy Socks for Chad. I think one of those two should be favored.
Sorry, I just started picturing Chad Brown in Fluffy Socks. I'm sorry.
Those are the winter socks that you pull out. This time of year, they're probably a little too warm. But I think either of those fillies could be favored in here over the 3. I wanted to take a shot with the 2. Javanica. I think it's crazy that she's almost 20-1. I don't know that she necessarily is a horse that wants to be on the lead. The way that she won last time, I think she did that in spite of the fact that she's not actually a horse that is a forward type. I think she can sit a few lengths off of it. You go through and take a look at some of the names that she's run against. She's only a half length behind Fluffy Socks as a 2-year-old. She ran into Super Sensational up at Woodbine, who we know she's a really nice one-turn filly on the main track. She was only a neck behind Rombauer in the El Camino Real Derby earlier this year. So she's taken on some legitimate company. And in that most recent start, it's been a decent enough race. The runner-up came back, won next out with an 84 buyer, third place finisher next out with an 81. I just think to me, this is a race where the public has gone a little overboard on a couple horses that if you're just objectively looking at it, they don't really have that much of an edge on the rest of the field. I think 19-1's crazy on Javanica. She may not win, but she's a massive overlay.
Let's do this, Ren. I want to hear who you're putting into your pick 3. I am going to pull the video up just to show the odds. We can't show you this race, but we'll at least take a look at the odds while they're up. The one closing remarks you can see there is 6-1 currently. Javanica 19-1, as Matt mentioned. Going Global, your favorite right now, 3-2. The 3 horse. The 4, Madone, 6-1. Big Long Shot Feathers, the 5, 45-1. The 6, Ivy League, 35-1. The 7, Ren's favorite name, Fluffy Socks, 1. The 8 horse, Tetragonal, 12-1. The 9, Soaring Sky, 19-1. Ren, who you got?
Closing remarks. I think this horse, if you like, going global, it's not like she was well beaten by that horse by any stretch of the imagination. She ran really well. When she got to run a mile and an 8th, got just a neck short of the winner's circle that day, put up her career best buyer of 91 in that race. That was the grade 3 Providencia. And that was after having a bad start. And so I think now, if you look at the Senorita Stakes, obviously, there were some issues in there with heel clipping and all that stuff. So draw a line through that one. Then they bring her back off the layoff and try her on dirt in the Fleet Treat. So you can't really say anything about that. And she wasn't embarrassed in that race either. So I figured that race is a good tightener. Now we're getting her back on the turf, which is what her pedigree suggests she wants. What we've seen her be successful over. And just, fun stuff I like to always remember. Vronsky, we think of Vronsky, back in the day, he was $1 million yearling picked out by, one of the best eyes in the business in Demi O'Byrne. And then that stud Vronsky is a half to E Dubai who won the Suburban. So, and the bottom side, Unusual Heat. I love Unusual Heat, especially there in California. He, the hometown, the home state stallion, Harris Farms, and his mom, Harris's mom, the whole crew there are deep in with the karma also. So I think it would be nice to see her win, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, look, there was closing remarks going in. Like I said, we can't show you this one. I will say some good insight here. If you're betting doubles or pick 3s, and if you're interested in kind of what it foretells in terms of who might be the favorite in the TVG Pacific Classic, John with an interesting tidbit here, looking ahead at the probables. He says that show.Post should be a solid favorite of the Pacific Classic, which he says is a bit surprising. Spoiler alert, show.Post is going to be my pick in the Pacific Classic. We'll get into what everyone else thinks about the Pacific Classic in just a few minutes. And again, keep dropping your comments in. Let us know who you think will win the Pacific Classic. I'm also curious. I also want to know what everyone's drinking tonight. I've got a really...
Prosecco. Oh, by the way, I did use the European import in my pick 3 too. I did. Oh, they're off, so it doesn't matter.
Bram, you want to attempt a play-by-play? We always ask you, and you're always
no, but I'm barely kind of watching it. I just put in a pick 3, and here's how much I respect Matt. Just whatever horse came out of his mouth first was going to be in that bet. So Madone, I'm hoping that 6-1 is going to work out for. So I went Going Global and Madone here, and there's a long shot out front. What is it? 20.
Well, that's my filly. She's on the lead. I don't know that I necessarily love it, but they're not going all that fast, and if she can just kind of back it down to a reasonable tempo, I think she's better with a target. That doesn't mean that she is incapable of doing this. She just did it in that last run, but I'd like it if she could just kind of ease it back a little bit here. If we can get something close to 48-3, 48-4 for the half, 48-3. I mean, Take my chances from here at 13-1.
First Flight is 13-1, 60-1, 45-1, 6-1. I'm going to go with that's not going to last, but that's where we are right now.
They are going.
Ren, you've got to like your position.
Yeah, they're going a reasonable pace. I mean, they're 48-3, I think, to the half, and I mean, Javanica looks very comfortable in the front end. You got a couple of horses that are being asked a little bit right now, including on the outside there, one of the long shots. That's the 6 horse. I'm not going to worry about that one as much. But closing remarks, sitting a decent trip on the rail, really has no excuse if she's good enough.
It's kind of bottled up.
Yeah, we'll see if she can find running room.
Here comes Going Global. Now, Going Global is going to sweep by him. We'll see. There's a late run from the 7 on the outside. They're not going to catch him, though. And maybe the 1's got a shot here, but Going Global looks like he's going pretty strong. He's going to get there.
Not going to get there.
Hey, Public was right.
All right, so the favorite. Wrong.
Yeah, Public was right. I still maintain she was overbet, but, good on the Public. That's the reason that they're the best handicapper that there is.
And my horse ran second. I'm bottled up. I hate it. I mean, there's not much you can do, so I don't blame the jockeys when they get in that situation.
You used the favorite when you picked 3, right? Or did you not? No? All right.
I mean, here's what I'm staring down, Dan, because that's Prat just won on the favorite there. I'm going to get the pick 3, and Prat's going to win all 3 of them. So that's where I'm feeling right now.
I mean, he's done it before. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time Pratt swept.
Yeah, well, I like Tis a Magician in the next race. Not to be too much of a spoiler here, but I do. So, and part of it is him, and part of it's him out there. So,
all right, we're definitely going to get into the TVG Pacific Classic.
I have to play a double now.
You got to play a double. You just keep going. Pick 5, you get knocked out. You play the pick 4, you get knocked out. You play the pick 3, then you play the double. Let us know who you think will win the TVG Pacific Classic. We are going to show you that race live, so stay with us. We will show you that race live. We'll have live video of the TVG Pacific Classic, as well as the Del Mar Handicap, which follows the Pacific Classic. Lots of opportunities to make money. As I said a moment ago, I am curious as to what everyone is drinking. Ren, you are drinking some bubbly drink.
As usual, it's just Prosecco.
Prosecco. Matt, what do you got?
This is it's called Baxter. Apparently it's a brewery here in Maine. Local. Baxter.
Nice.
That's all I got for you. I don't have any more details.
Is it a
It's an IPA.
IPA. Okay.
It is an IPA. Yes. I wish I had more details than that for you, but it was at the store. I bought it and it tastes good. So.
It's always good to drink local or relatively local.
Yes.
If you're drinking within a state or two, it's great. I'm drinking something called Coco Van. How about that?
Oh, that's funny.
Isn't that cute? Look at that. Hubbard's Cave. I think these guys are from Illinois. I want to say Illinois. Maybe Illinois. I don't see it on the can. Yeah, it's Illinois. 12%. So I'll make it to about
holy smokes.
And at 9:30, I'll probably check out. Look, the Pacific.
Boy, that's a little early to go with your head
going for it, Dan. Holy cow.
Why don't you just drink Everclear while you're at it?
That's what I'm following this up with. All right, the Pacific Classic. As we mentioned, it's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, you might be asking, do horses who win this race actually win the Breeders' Cup Classic? Well, there's been one. One horse did it. He did it in 2018, and we want to take a look back.
And it is all Accelerate clear by double figures with a 16th of a mile to go. They said he would overwhelm this field, and he certainly has. Accelerate for John Sadler, and Joel Rosario gets his 4th. Accelerate in the Classic.
It is Accelerate. He's coming down to the 16th pole in front. Thunder Snow on the inside is next. Then Mendelssohn, Ganavera, and Yoshida on the far outside. They're coming to the wire, and Accelerate wins the Breeders' Cup Classic for John Sadler.
Standing at Lincoln Farm.
What was the Sadler stat that year? He'd never won a Breeders' Cup race. Is that right? Was that his thing? Wasn't that the thing that year?
Yes.
It was either never or it was like one for like his lifetime. It was a low number. Yeah.
1 for 798. He came through. All right.
Well, look, it's a great segue, right? Because he does have a
Billy
horse.
has a huge shot.
All right.
Billy has huge shot. That's my top pick. What's up?
Let's talk Tripoli. The one horse in the Pacific Classic, Tripoli, finished second in the San Diego Handicap. Ren, I know you want to talk Tripoli, so let's talk Tripoli.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, he had 2 starts on dirt. He obviously likes it, right? Mm-hmm. And why can't he continue to move forward? You've got Pedigree that suggests you can go all day. You're by Kitten's Joy. You're out of a tap-it mare. I think this is a race in which he can, it doesn't matter so much that he's got the rail, because the first turn maybe just finds his position, but I think he's a horse that can sit and wait to pounce. I also think Tiz Magician has a huge shot, but the question's going to be with him, especially on the turn back. But the question's going to be Independence Hall with the blinkers going on and now being fresh off the layoff. We got to think that horse is going to go, right? So.
Yeah, and I think that's a conversation we got to have, right? Like, how does this race shape up from a pace perspective? I think a couple of different.
And if you love Express Train, then it's sort of the same idea with closing remarks. If you love global, going global, then why wouldn't you like closing remarks? Because she's been right there. Well, Tripoli was half length beaten by Express Train, and I like the way he was finishing in that race. He looked really good. He had the outside post. Race prior to that, he was carrying a 124. I know he had a weight break in that last go in the San Diego Handicap with 118. Now it's back to the 124, but I don't think it matters. He carried that type of weight before, didn't look to be a hindrance, and they had gone pretty quickly in that race, 46-4 for the half, and he hung pretty close, just a couple lengths off. So I think this is a horse that is going to be in the sweet spot.
So you're watching there right now on the screen a replay of the Del Mar Oaks. As John mentioned in the comments a little while ago, based on the early betting, it was clear that Dr. Post would be your favorite here, and at least in terms of the early money coming in, Dr. Post here, the 3 horse, is your favorite. But Ren, going back to what you said about Tripoli, I'm with you. I mean, Tripoli is not my top choice, but this is a horse who's, I think, really intriguing. Started his career with 11 races on turf, the last 2 have been on dirt. And I think that he showed that he could overcome a little bit of adversity, because in the San Diego Handicap, I think he had pretty much the worst trip of any of the horses who finished in the top half of the field. He certainly covered the most ground. Want to take a look back at how that San Diego Handicap shaped up. Of course, the winner was Express Train, who's also in this race. We'll talk about it in a moment. Let's take a look back first at the San Diego Handicap.
Up alongside. Mosa makes it 3 in a line. Royal Ship just waiting for room in the red cap. Can he find somewhere to run? Tripoli's on the outside of that. Top of the lane now, and Rushy's in deep water. Express Train gets the lead. Royal Ship sees a hole at the rail, and here comes Royal Ship in the red cap at the rail. Express Train running a big one. Tripoli running a huge one on the outside. Any one of the 3. Tripoli on the outside. Express Train and Royal Ship. Express Train, the more they asked, the more he gave.
Yeah, I just love the way he gets his head down. He fights. That's the type of horse you want to see when you're going to be asked to go a mile and a quarter.
Bram, what do you make of the horses that come out of that race specifically?
So I like Tripoli a lot. I mean, obviously that close is very impressive. So peaking, and if there's more to come here from him, I like him a lot. You're going to get a decent enough price, because this is a very deep field, right? And I mean, on Dr. Post, I keep feeling like, what do people know? Because that's not the way I was leaning going into this, especially off of his last one at the Metropolitan. He wasn't even close. So something's in the water here where people have a big feeling that there's a big one coming out of him. And it's not that I don't trust Fletcher or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't see him as I don't look on paper and go, that's the favorite here. I think it's a very deep field. So, I think any of the top 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have a shot really realistically to win this race. I like Royal Ship. I already said I like Prot a lot here. I like Tiz Magician here. I trust Mike Smith on Royal Ship too. So I think this is going to be a fantastic race, and it's very much, in my opinion, wide open on the inside.
All right, Matt, what do you think? We looked at that San Diego Handicap before we move on from Tripoli. What are your thoughts on that horse and maybe Royal Ship and Express Train?
Yeah, I mean, that race is an interesting one from a handicapping standpoint. There are enough people that I respect their opinion that said that day at Del Mar, inside isn't where you wanted to be. And that's kind of where Royal Ship was for the majority of the run, especially that stretch run when Mike Smith was able to duck down to the inside. I don't know that I'm 100% buying into that, but if that is indeed the case, and we'll find out, some horses have run out of the races run that day and have come back and actually improved their fig. So maybe there is some credence to it. Royal Ship, you want to move him up some. I landed on Triple E in here as well.
Oh.
Now, again, if the inside isn't where you wanted to be, perhaps the ground loss for Triple E that day actually wasn't really a negative, which would kind of change things a little bit. But in the big picture, to Ren's point, the 2 runs on the main track have far and away been the best of his career. He's paired up buyer tops of 100. To me, that typically could precede a forward move. That gets him up into sort of mid 100 range. I think he's got a big chance in here. He carried a fair amount of ground. And again, that's up to the handicapper, however they want to approach that. But from a pace standpoint, if you use pace figures, the internal splits of that San Diego were on the rather tepid side. So in general, if you talk about a wide trip chasing a slowish pace, and you only lose by a half length to a horse in Express Train, who we need to discuss, but he basically had the run of the race in the San Diego, and he only prevailed by a half length. I just felt like of the logical horses in here, basically the ones that Bram laid out, the inside 5. I just thought Triple E was going to offer the best price, and to this point, that seems to be accurate. He's 9-1. I made him 5-1. I think that anything above that would be just added value. I just wanted to give him a look, despite the fact that I do think Royal Ship, when push comes to shove, is the best horse in the race. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have some reservations. His 2 runs at Del Mar, not that the San Diego was a bad effort, but it certainly wasn't his A game. The 2 runs at Santa Anita prior to that race, I thought were Breeders' Cup caliber winning kind of efforts. I thought so highly of him. I actually voted him number 1 in the Breeders' Cup Classic rankings a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I genuinely think both of those races, if he were able to replicate those, that's good enough to be right there with an Essential Quality or a Knicks Go or any of those types. But he's got to prove that he can do that away from Santa Anita's main track. Express Train, I feel like, is kind of the one you got to discuss because he loves Del Mar. He's the opposite of the reservations I may have about Royal Ship. He's 3 for 4 at Del Mar, 4 for 4 in the exact. 1.25 miles is not a problem for him. Tactically, he may get the jump on some of these runners. I don't love him, but then again, if I'm looking at the tote board and he's 4-1 compared to a couple of these other runners, I certainly wouldn't talk anybody off of that.
Yep. You just saw on the screen there, they flashed up a graphic. What's at stake here? It's important to note that, of course, not only is this a win and you're in for the winner of this race going to Longines Classic, but the winner of this will also get a travel allowance of $10,000 if they're based outside of California. The entry fees, obviously, completely paid for by the Breeders' Cup. So a lot at stake here for the winner of this race. We have talked a little bit about the pace and how the pace might shape up. One horse who's, I think, interesting here, and Bram's expressed some interest in this horse as well, is Tis a Magician. He comes out of a race in which he was close to the lead and kind of pulled off top of the stretch. And he's a horse that has shown speed, but he's shown speed, going longer. I mean, this is a longer race. I mean, it is 1.25 miles. He's certainly a horse who's gonna lay close. Before we talk a little bit more about him, let's take a look back at his last race.
Tis a Magician and Cupid's Claws. These are the 2 that come to the top of the stretch to dispute the Cougar the second stakes. Tis a Magician, Cupid's Claws, all hot. These 2 nose and nose. Neither one of them will give an inch. 1/8 mile to go. Tis a Magician starts to inch away. Cupid's Claws all hot, but Tis a Magician pulling clear late. And his class came through in the end. Tis a Magician and Flavion Pratt take it by about 3 in the end. Cupid's Claws was second.
I love this. I mean, anyone can jump in on the pace situation before.
He's shown speed at short distances too. I mean, he's been able to put in, for example, 46 4.5 going a mile at Del Mar specifically. Granted, it wasn't in a Grade 1 race, but yeah, I mean, I would think that he's going to be close, like real close there. I mean, having drawn the 2-hole and knowing that, again, we may see Independence Hall show more speed with those blinkers going on, and Express Train has some early foot, so you don't want to get left behind. I think this is a really cool horse. I think this is a horse who's gotten a lot better in terms of carrying his weight as he's gotten bigger. He's balanced out. The other thing to, take into consideration too is when he has been in grade 1 competition, Santa Anita Handicap, that was off a bit of a layoff. So you can't really fault him. He had a bad start as well. So he always performs. He always shows up. The question is going to be obviously, what is this pace truly going to set up to look like? And how much of it can he take? I think he's going to be ultra fit coming off a couple 3 mile-and-a-half races consecutively. So I don't think he'll be, again, lacking for any type of fitness.
All right. People sending in their picks as well. Trifecta boxes coming in already.
And real quick, how cool also would it be for not only the My Racehorse crew, but his own partnership with Spendthrift and having just lost, a titan of the industry and Mr. Hughes. I think that would make the story if he should win.
I mean, those guys, those My Racehorse guys, they seem to, week after week, I see them in a winner's circle.
Yeah.
Stakes race. So they won with Got Stormy last week. Maybe they do it again this week. Bram, build on your case for Tiz the Magician. And is it a pace play, or what is it specifically?
Well, I mean, the pace for me is the worrisome part of this. I think if they're going fast early, I'm not gonna like them in the end. But if they're not, I'm gonna really like them here. I have no worries about distance with this horse. I love Prot on him. I mean, I feel like this is a really good spot. My concern with Express Train is actually the distance. I really think that to me, my gut feeling is the distance is going to be a problem for him. I am most worried about Royal Ship. I have no distance issues with Tiz the Magician, and that's why I think 4-1, 5-1, wherever it ends up with, is an extremely fair price. Like, I like Tripoli. Like, I like what everyone's saying about Tripoli. And again, I think the top 5 are all kind of wide open here. I'm leaning against Express Train because my gut says the distance is going to be a little too much for him in this race. I like Tripoli, but you have to bet on that he's going to do better than he did last time, or was that a peak race for him? And I'm not totally sure. So, that price is nice on him. That is really appealing. But for me right now, I feel most comfortable with Tiz the Magician, knowing that 1.25 miles is not a problem. But the pace up front to me is going to be, I think, the telltale sign of this. If they're not going particularly fast, I love them in the stretch.
Matt, I want to get you on the pace scenario here and race shape a little bit. Before we do, since we know you love Royal Ship so much, we're going to take a look back at the Californian Stakes.
Royal Ship on the outside puts his head in front. Country Grammar is going with him. 3 more to Independence Hall. They're a furlong from the finish. And Royal Ship on the outside is just in front. Country Grammar fighting on. These two are head and head. They just came into very close quarters. It is Royal Ship or Country Grammar in a thriller. Country Grammar, Royal Ship or Country Grammar. It will be Royal Ship to outfinish Country Grammar, and they were well clear of Independence Hall in third.
So before you just completely gush over Royal Ship, I do want to point out, and we highlighted Independence Hall, which is another horse that we need to talk about. That was Independence Hall's 5th race of his form cycle, right? That was his 5th race, and his 4th of the year or 3rd of the year. And for Royal Ship, that was only his 2nd start of the year. What do you make of that? And do you envision a sort of a similar thing unfolding here?
Well, I suppose let's start with Independence Hall. I mean, you brought up the fact that we've got an equipment change coming off of a bit of a layoff here. I think the only way for this horse to win is to go. And even having said that, I mean, we were on for the Santa Anita Handicap a few months ago, and I said, there's just no way he's going to get 1.25 miles. And there's nothing between then and now that has changed my opinion. I think he's a one-turn miler at heart. I think he's really talented. He can get 1.125 miles on talent alone. I don't think it's because the horse adores it. Never mind 1.25 miles. But point being, they got to be aggressive with him out of the gate. The only chance they have of winning, in my opinion, is to be aggressive. As far as Royal Ship is concerned, I like him. I like him quite a bit, but to me, there are elements of a very quirky racehorse. I mean, you go back to that Californian from a speed figure standpoint. Again, that race between he and Country Grammar, that stacked up, and it's unfortunate that Country Grammar sidelined for the rest of the year. But I mean, that race stacks up favorably with the Knicks Goes of the world and some of the other horses that we've seen as far as this classic division is concerned. The Gold Cup wasn't far off from that. That race was at 1.25 miles. I bring that one up, though, because Royal Ship was actually about a half length in front with about 1/8 of a mile to go, and Country Grammar came back on him. And a lot of people were wondering, well, maybe it was just a matter of Country Grammar digging in and finding something else. I happen to think it was more of Royal Ship getting a little bit goofy when he hit the front. And if you go back and look at that Californian, it looks like he's going to go right on by, and he just kind of grinds away, and he only wins by about a neck. To me, there's something here about this horse that maybe, I don't want to say mentally it's not all there, but he's still doing some kind of funny things. I'll be curious to see what we get here this afternoon. This is kind of a do it or kind of move along race for me. Like you really show me that you're
out of the Breeders' Cup list. He's done.
That's honestly, Lava Man, by the way. Lava Man is on the screen right now.
Oh, Lava Man. Oh, there he is.
Your 2006 Pacific Classic champion. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to.
No.
It's Lava Man.
This is an important race.
Yeah.
You need to prove, if you can't beat this field, you're probably not going to be able to beat the East Coast shippers and anybody else that shows up in the Breeders' Cup Classic. So this is kind of an important race, not just for this horse, but for many of the others in this race. I think Royal Ship should have a decent enough sort of position. I think they need to be aggressive with him. I don't want to see him having to come from 3 or 4 off of it, because I don't think that's his best running style. I think he's the kind of horse that you need to just get him into it early, because of the kind of goofiness that I brought up just now. So I'll be curious to see what they end up doing with him. Tis a Magician. I love the horse. I think he's really cool. He's blossomed to me since they stretched him out to the marathon distances, out at 1.5 miles. Not that he can't get 1.25 miles. To Bram's point, he genuinely may be the only horse that's not a question mark at 1.25 miles in here. We know he can get that. He's just getting warmed up at that point. Yep. I do wonder about, is he this caliber? You know, he's run against a number of these common opponents in the past, and he just hasn't been able to cut it. Maybe he's a different horse now. Maybe he's finally put it all together as a 4-year-old. But that would be my only concern, is that maybe we've seen him 1 or 2 or 3 times against common foes, and he can't quite hack it. If this race was at 1.5 miles, he would be slam dunk single, the only one I want. But that's kind of where I stand with him. And I agree with Bram, though. If the pace is on the moderate side and he can be forward, I mean, I think he's got a giant chance. I wonder if they're going to go a little bit quicker early on. He's going to have to come from a little bit farther off of it. And when the real running starts, is that going to kind of put him behind the 8 ball?
Yeah, I want to echo what Matt said about Royal Ship. Like, honestly, I think he's the monster of the group here, but he doesn't act like it all the time. And so, you know, if you're going to take a stand on something, I want to feel relatively confident. And that's why I keep leaning back to, well, I know that the one that I'm taking a stand on is going to go this distance. I'm not worried about it. And to kind of Matt's point, like Royal Ship, if he was just more consistent or kind of showcased the talent that is obviously there in stretch after stretch, I think this would be an easy choice. I think he'd be a heavy favorite here. I think you're getting a pretty decent price on him because of the caliber of horse. But to Matt's point, I just don't know what exactly I'm going to get. I know he's going to be there, but is he going to be there? I don't know. So I'm with Matt too. Performer, get out of here. All right. Get out of here.
I didn't want that to sound terrible or callous, but I mean, from a classic standpoint, it's that time of year where you need to prove, are you a Breeders' Cup Classic type, or do you need to sort of reset expectations for what your fall campaign is going to look like?
Yep, absolutely. And look, this horse, Royal Ship, I'm looking at his past performances right now. He started his racing career in Brazil, and they were racing him at 7 furlongs at 1 mile. He came here, and he was running to start at 1 mile. And you look at his, again, what he's done here stateside, his 2 poorest dirt races have come at Del Mar. As Matt mentioned, like here's my notes. I wrote this. He ran a huge race in the California. It was a smaller field. Track Country Grammar. Royal Ship, though, didn't do it with any panache. It was wacky. It was boring. It was like, okay, whatever. I'm winning because I'm going a little faster than this horse next to me. Did not look like he was necessarily thriving at the distance. So I think that I'm with you guys. Look, Royal Ship, I don't know. Look, if Royal Ship wins by 10 lengths tonight, we may just have to cancel the rest of the series. But I think just based on observation, knowing that we're people who watch replays, who are looking at the language of the horse, of what they're putting out there, Royal Ship, this does not seem optimal. And I think that cutting back may not do him, may do him, some justice. It may benefit him. I want to talk about Pedigree real quick because Ren is our Pedigree expert. Yeah. But I like to throw something out there every once in a while for Ren so she knows that I'm at least paying attention. I'm doing my homework. So I did a search for all of the horses in this race, looking at their sires, their stallions, their fathers, right? I'm looking at what they're producing. And so I looked for 3-year-old and up on the dirt, going 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 in graded stakes races. What have they produced? Which sires or stallions have produced the best horses? And my research showed me, Ren, I'm dying to hear your reaction to this.
Okay.
Constitution, 19% leads the Constitution is the sire of Independence Hall. So that's your 7-horse Independence Hall. So if you're talking about sire, stallion, pedigree, it's with Independence Hall. Next up is Quality Road. So that supports the 3-horse and Dr. Post at 18%. And then the 3rd horse, the horse we haven't even uttered, whose name we haven't even uttered at all, is Curlin, 17%, and he is the sire of Sheriff Brown, the 8-horse here. Ren, what do you think?
The only thing I would caution with stats like that is they don't take in consideration, well, who were the stallions bred to at any given time? Who's the dam sire? What is the mare bringing to the table? Because the female family will have some say in the class and distance limitations. So it's all about... It's all in perspective and it's all relatively speaking. But the Constitution factoid, I mean, it's interesting, but it doesn't move me only because he's a relatively new stallion. What's more important that you bring that up is that you have to remember who's Constitution's sire. It's Tappet. Tappet, who is sire to get, a number of Belmont 1.5 mile Test of a Champion stakes winners. Tappet. So, who's the damn sire of Tripoli? Tappet. So this is the way you kind of have to look at it, because when I look at pedigree and from that regard, I go, okay, Tripoli, you're by Kitten's Joy. Kitten's Joy won. Well, he came just shy of winning the Breeders' Cup Turf, right? And then you're out of a Tappet mare, right? So boom, you got that. And also remember, Tappet by Pulpit, Pulpit by APND, Classic winner, Belmont champion, et cetera. That's where you get a lot of stamina. I look at, it's interesting, you Tis Magician, Tis Now, 2-time Breeders' Cup champion, right? You look at Curlin, obviously, Breeders' Cup champion, Dubai World Cup, 2-time Jockey Club Gold Cup winner. You look at Express Train. I was interested. I thought it was kind of funny. Sorry, Bram, when you're like, the distance. It's possible he doesn't get it just because of mental fortitude. But from a pedigree perspective, you're by Union Rags, who won the Belmont, and you're out of a Mineshaft mare. Mineshaft, AP Indy Mineshaft, a horse of 2003's Horse of the Year. Distance, you would think based on the pedigree right there, shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, with Independence Hall going to his pedigree by Constitution, but that female family is very quick. It includes the likes of Breeders' Cup Sprint Champion Desert Stormer. So I'm with Matt Bernier here about, I always jack up how to say your last name. So I'm sorry, Matt. I know it's more of an elegant way.
First name is the only one. Don't screw up the first name.
Once every 3 shows, I get it right. I
can't say. I'm sorry. If you want to call me Renee Hackham, Carothers, it's all good. So yeah, Independence Hall. I think he's got talent, but I agree with you. I think he'd be better at a shorter distance.
The only other thing, but before they load in, Dan, I don't want to cut you off. With Dr. Post, we got to at least talk about him.
Oh yeah.
Look, I've never liked Dr. Post. I think he's very grindy. I've never been blown away by anything he's done. It has to be acknowledged. This is a very shrewd move from Todd. He did this with Vino Rosso 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it was. He sent him out to the Gold Cup at Santa Anita. They won that race, parlayed that into the Breeders' Cup Classic. That Monmouth Cup, it may not have been the fastest race that he's ever run. To me, it's far and away the best he's ever run. And that also happened to be the first race with blinkers on. Perhaps this is just a horse that Todd's figured out over some time. And I have to be honest, I don't think that this is going to be any issue for him either. It's just a matter of, is he good enough?
I want to throw just one more real quick one. Any other given race, that 9 at 25-1 would be in every exotic bet that I have, because I think it's 50-50 to hit the board at this point. But I just think this field is so top heavy, I can't go that way. But any other day, I would love that number on a horse like that.
Bram, your top 2 picks, quick, for everyone tuning in just now.
I'm going to go Tis a Magician over Royal Ship. It's going to be close.
All right, Ren?
Tripoli over Tis a Magician.
Matt?
Tripoli, Royal Ship.
All right, I'm Dr. Post and Independence Hall.
Clause going up. And in. All set now for the $1 million TVG Pacific Classic. Field sent on their way to the roar of the Del Mar crowd. They all appear to come away well. Tripoli wants the lead from the inside gate. Tis a Magician up alongside. The centre of the track, Independence Hall's on a tight hole going up third. Down at the rail is Show.Post. Royal Ship has the red cap. Express Train between them, and now Magic on Tap the Grey, easily making headway as they're not in any hurry at all. Cupid's Claws is on the outside, and last of all, the long shot, Sheriff Brown. Just about half the journey covered now, and out on the lead here, we have Tripoli now being taken back as Tis a Magician kicks on. Tis a Magician, the new leader. Tripoli's right there at the rail. Independence Hall in the white on the far side. Magic on Tap as the grey, and here's Royal Ship, a very comfortable fifth in the red cap, 4 off the leaders. Just behind that, we have Express Train. Up alongside of that, we have Show.Post, who's at the back of the leading group, a good 7 lengths off the leaders, and Sheriff Brown trails. They head to the half-mile pole, and Tis a Magician, the leader. Independence Hall right there in second. Tripoli comes back at the rail. Magic on Tap the grey is still in contention as well. Racing in just behind those two is Cupid's Claws. Cupid's Claws only 3 lengths off the leaders. Then comes Royal Ship. Behind that, Express Train. Show.Post is a long way back, been ridden, and Show.Post is not responding. Show.Post dropping out last. They come into the quarter pole now in the big one. Tis a Magician as the leader. Tripoli hooks off the fence, and Tripoli's going to come to tackle them. Independence Hall. Royal Ship plugging away in the red cap, and then Cupid's Claws. And now Show.Post is starting to wind up, and he's given himself a tall order. Homeward bound in the Pacific Classic, and Tripoli strikes the front and kicks on strongly. And it's Tripoli starting to draw clear now. Tis a Magician is again second, but it's Tripoli in front as they run to the wire. And Tripoli and Tiago Pereira have won the Pacific Classic. Tis a Magician second. Show.Post got going far, far too late, did get up for third. In behind those came Sheriff Brown, and then we drop back to Magic on Tap, Independence Hall.
I wanted more of a celebration from you, Ren.
I thought it would be cocky. You want me to do it now?
Yeah, hold on, let me full screen.
Oh, what I tell you? Boom, boom, boom. Hey, what's up? Girl can tap, right? Right? 6 to 1 over 6 to 1. What's up?
What's up? What's up? Nice call.
I'm
Nice
gonna
call.
plug this whole thing now because I've done my work. If I'm goofing for the rest of the show, I earned it.
Nah, you did good. You did good.
Should I do something? Should I do something too?
Yeah,
then?
you
Should I
do
do some celebration?
You do a backflip for us. Yeah, I mean, she stole your thunder though. She went first, but you could.
Oh wait, I have the
please.
exacta, Matt. Did you have the exacta?
No, I did not.
Exactly. No, it's okay.
I have to be honest with you. I thought, yeah, I'll say it. I thought Pereira screwed up early on.
I did too. I was like, oh crap, because he went up pretty quick.
Well, no, I thought he should have gone.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, because he broke right on top. And instead he took back, and he ended up having to angle out and go by Tis a Magician, who, good on Bram. I mean, look, that was a big race from that horse. They were, what, 6 clear from third? It's not like there was anybody else within shouting distance. I thought Pereira at first, I thought he had made an error. But look, I mean, there's a reason that Tiago Pereira is a professional jockey, and I am not. Among other reasons that I couldn't get on the back of a horse, but neither here nor there.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I just thought it was a good performance from both of the top two. I'll be curious to see what the replay looks like. Show.Post apparently decided to run at the quarter pole because he was nowhere, and then all of a sudden he rolled home late. The rest of the field, toss them out. You can have them all.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking at so a couple of things. First of all, I'm looking at our viewer count. Thank you so much, everyone who's tuned in tonight. We have massive viewership across
we do. Awesome.
Here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Thank you so much for jumping in and being a part of the show tonight. Just so you know, it's not over, so stay with us. We have more live racing coming up. Ren, Matt, and then hopefully me and Bram could join in on the party here in a few minutes. We'll be giving you winners in the Del Mar Handicap. But the Del Mar Handicap is coming up in a little bit. We'll have more live guests coming on. We have people watching from the UK. Again, thank you to everyone for tuning in. I love the comments coming in. I know I see my dad in the comments, which means he realized that our pick 4 is dead now. So now it's just going to be a bunch of sobbing. That's not my dad, but we appreciate it. That's wonderful. There it is.
Yeah, Max. Woo.
So Bram, we did a show a couple of weeks ago, and I could tell Bram was laughing. I was like, this is U.S. racing. You get to the front, you win. You get to the front, you win. But let's be honest. You get to the front, you win or finish second or third in like 95% of dirt races. And, that's where I think that anxiety comes from when you break on top and you take back with a horse who looks like, they should have no problem being right there. And look, that's Tis Magician, right? I thought he had an easier lead than he should have. I mean, he went fast enough, right? He did like a sub 47 half. I don't remember what the
46 and 98 100, so just under.
Yeah. But I think that's where you want to be. Speed is good. I mean, speed is always good, especially on big days, whether it's at Del Mar, whether it's at Saratoga, whether it's the Breeders' Cup, whether it's the Kentucky Derby.
Well, I just didn't want the horse mentally to think like he already fought early in the race and didn't have enough fight left. So when he broke sharply, I was like, okay, good. He's ready to roll today. But then when he kept going, I was like, wait, now don't get in a pace duel right now. So I like that he actually then eventually did take him back, gave him a little bit of a breather. And so then he had plenty once that whole, came around, go out and get the job done. So
this is the beauty of handicapping though, because I look at it the opposite. Say, he could have just put the boots to the field. The way he ran, with the fact that behind Tis Magician, there were 6 clear or whatever it was, 5 clear. Nobody's going to run him down. Go 46 and 4 to the half. Go 46 and 3 to the half. Open up by a length or 2. Instead, he would have won by 3. That's my opinion.
See, the thing is maybe it's partly because I come from an equestrian background and I just know how mental some horses can get. And if they think they've already done a job, they'll stop and be like, I've already done enough mentally. I'm taxed. I'm done. Even if they're not physically there, they'll mentally convince themselves that they can't go any further. So that's where my mind is when I'm looking at it.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're the pedigree expert here.
Okay.
Is this the most accomplished Kitten's Joy on dirt ever?
Oh,
I can't.
Kitten's Joy has never had a good dirt.
No, I can't. You know what? I'm going to look into that, but I think you may be very well right. Because, obviously, that's why his career's been on turf this whole time. Yes. And not only, but also consider the fact that he was a $450,000 yearling. And usually, when a horse is bred for turf, people aren't like, oh, let's throw nearly $500,000 down, unless they're planning maybe to take the horse overseas or whatever. So they obviously like the way they like this horse as a yearling. And I mean, obviously when your mom's wife's happy, that helps, but still.
How do you think they figure, is it just so this is something I think it would be of interest to anybody watching. I mean, I've been following this sport for years and I don't know how do you make the decision that this horse should actually run on dirt? Is it something like based in the?
I think he just tried it. I think he was like, you know what? He's not. Maybe he was working well on dirt, and maybe he thought, on turf, if he was ever going to flourish on turf with that pedigree, he would have done it by now. So let's try turf. Let's put him in an OC 62. 9 winners of 2 other than, and see what he does. And he won. And I think that was enough to be like, okay, great. It was a 4-horse field, so you don't know too much, but he put up a 100 buyer figure. So take your shot, right? Here's
the replay now coming up. Bram, any thoughts?
I was concerned. Listen, I had no concerns with distance with Tis Magician, and my concern going in was, what's the pace going to be up front? Because I didn't expect him to set it. But as it turns out, I think honestly that was obviously the right game plan to do that, because I think they probably just factored in what I saw the whole time, which was they don't think these other horses can run this distance. So if they get out in front of them, who's going to catch them? Well, the one that was actually peaking right now was the one horse that actually had a shot to catch them. I'd love to know what happened to Express Train, obviously. I'd love to know what happened to Royal Ship, because they were complete non-factors whatsoever, and that's really unusual here. And then, I'd have to relook at TVG because shot out of a cannon, but 28 minutes too late, by the time he's not going to catch anybody. So I like the race that was run by Tis Magician here. I like the game plan that they had, and they got beat by a horse that's peaking at the right time and beat them at their own game. So good on both of the connections of both of those horses.
I think it's worth talking about TVG a little bit. So keep an eye on TVG here. He's second to last on your screen, right? So he's that horse who got a little bit of distance between him and the 8 horse in the back of the field. And at some point here, it looks like the 8, Sheriff Brown's going by him even. It looks like he's about to he's about to pull up. Like there's no response. And then, like, once everyone has passed him and he looks helplessly beaten, he moves by one horse here. And then he's like, you know what? Oh, I'm in a race. I'm going to keep running. And he actually clears almost the entire field with the exception of 2 horses. I've seen this move before. I've actually seen it with Pletcher horses before as well. And I don't know what this move is. I don't know how this move happens. like what is that? Is that just Pedigree kicking in? Is that just everyone else tiring and that horse moving a little faster? What is that move?
I didn't see the beginning of the race, so I don't know if he had an excuse for being that far back. I don't know if there was something just like bothering him from a mental standpoint or what. I would be more prone to think other horses are just tiring. And
yes.
This is a theory. I mean, I thought he was in the clear mostly, but said didn't like the kickback till he swung wide. That's a theory, at least. I mean, there could be something to that. I don't know.
I think there's also,
too. I got to say too, real quick, Matt. I'm sorry to interrupt, but for those of you who went all on the superfecta, that 80-1 8 popping up in 4th, boy, did that juice pot for you. Oh man, because that thing was a nothing burger until that 8 popped up at the last second there.
Hey, good on Todd Fincher. Finishing 4th in a grade 1 with Sheriff Brown.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for Pereira. I mean, come on. That gotta feel so awesome to win the freaking grade 1 $1 million Pacific Classic.
Is that his
amazing? Huh?
It might be his first grade 1, right? I mean, I feel like he's won grade 6.
I don't know for sure, but even if I mean, it's the Pacific Classic. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, you know what? This performance from Dr.Post has me perplexed because I'm trying to find an excuse for it. It's just very odd.
Well, so now to the kickback idea. Look, here's the head-on down the backside. That's him all the way outside.
Though horses when they don't like the kickback, there's usually more like this going on.
But he's out in the clear right now.
You know that I don't see that happen. I didn't see that happening with him on the backstretch. So I wouldn't say that's the reason. I will say this to you guys. I don't know if y'all watched the Coolmore Wooten Bassett Nunthorpe yesterday morning with Golden Pal. But I will say this, and I'm not saying this is the reason he lost or he wouldn't have lost if this weren't the case. I don't know. I would actually have to talk to Frankie Dettori or Wesley Ward to know if this is even any type of credible consideration. But they had a big number tag. Most of the other horses had it on their head saddle up by their temple. His number tag was on his throat latch. And I can't help but wonder if when he broke from the gate, I mean, he broke so fast. I mean, he was rattling off those clips at like 10 and change. And then I forget what it ended up slowing into. But like, I can't help but wonder if that thing hitting him in the face, potentially hitting him in the face under his chin did anything. Because horses are so freaking peculiar. The smallest things you wouldn't even think of can bother the heck out of them and make them perform badly. So I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I mean, look, again, we're just theorizing here. So a couple of things. I did just look up Tiago Pereira. He has to date, he has won 7 graded stakes, but this would be his first grade 1 win. So
congratulations, Tiago.
To Tiago. We have a viewer who says that he won a Dubai World Cup race in 2010. Very possible. May have been a group 1 out there, but again, a U.S. North American grade 1. His first grade 1, so congrats to him. Now,
have you guys ever heard the Tiago song, by the way, about the horse Tiago?
What song?
Oh my gosh, you have to look it up. It's like the best thing ever. It's a
Sing
song.
It, Ren.
I can't even think of how the lyrics actually go, but it's the song about Tiago. I think it's the same artist who made a song about Zenyatta. But there's a song about Tiago. I might be wrong, but just Google it. Google it.
Brian, I was going to full screen you and allow you to sing it, but you just
no. I don't. That would be torture. You'd have people tuning out.
You all, bringing up like the Nunthorpe, like you mentioned all the sponsors. I thought that was super impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Now, what would be more impressive is if you could, off the top of your head, name the sponsor of the Del Mar Handicap.
Oh, the Del Mar Handicap presented by the Japan Racing Association. I mean, come on.
Well done.
Breeders' Cup Homer. What?
Ren, will you sing a different song if you won't sing that one?
Oh gosh, go shorty, it's your birthday.
All right, people are asking the question, who y'all got in the 11th? I think we should get into that now. The 11th, of course, is the Del Mar Handicap presented by the Japan Racing Association, a win and you're in race for the Breeders' Cup Longines Turf. So this is a fun race. This is a really fun race. We, a moment ago, at the top of the show, we reminisced about the 2020 running of this race. Let's take a look back at what happened last year in the Del Mar Handicap.
Big Buzz back into second on the rail. North County Guy still right there in third. United and Combatant are together. Red King's moving now. Red King with an early blitz. As they race for the far turn, he's moving for the front, and he's moving for the front right now on the far turn. Red King and North County Guy, these two have taken over the lead, and now Flavian Pratt brings United to the outside. He's just a length and a half behind as they come to the top of the stretch. Red King on the outside is the leader. North County Guy tries to go with him. United is third on the outside, but he still has to get to Red King with 1 furlong to run. Red King in front. United on the outside still has not gotten to him. Red King, United, late move Originaire. Red King to the Breeders' Cup.
That was a fun night. That was a fun race. That was the move, right? Like everybody remembers the move by Rispoli. We had Billy Koch on with us that night from Little Red Feather Racing. He was supposed to be our surprise guest. He may or may not join us because he's in the paddock right now. So I've told him if he can join us, to join us, but if he can't, he's saying he's in the paddock. So I'm getting text from him right now. I'm in the paddock. He may just tell me screw off, like not tonight. But anyway,
I would forgive him for flaking if that's the case.
Yeah, no. He says he's going to join us. He said, "Give me a minute. He's going to join us." Bram, I remember you being sort of distinctly like moved by that ride. I remember you being completely just kind of like, I have never seen anything like that.
I have to do the show every year now because between that and Ren singing "Go Shorty" at your birthday, this has turned out to be my favorite race day ever.
What up?
So who knows? That was amazing. And I remember afterwards, I guess Rispoli admitted that he had done that once in like Hong Kong years ago, and he had been waiting to pull this thing off at another time. And timing's everything in this sport. And that felt like it was really early, but that's when he had to take his shot, and he took it and he got there just in the nick of time. So that was an amazing, amazing ride. And if you think Rispoli's going to pull off a double here, he's got an interesting shot at an interesting price in this one coming up too.
Isn't it weird that Rispoli is off Red King and
Red King has not won a race since that?
But is that Rispoli's fault, or is Red King just maybe not?
Well, if Billy joins us here, we're going to
Billy, what's up? I mean, I know Rosario. I know you got Rosario, but still, Rispoli is amazing too. So.
Matt, looking back at that race, any special memories for you, either heartbreaking or triumphant?
I had Originaire, the horse that ran on for third. Now, the problem is Originaire, that was basically what that horse did, was run on late and finish second or third. He never won any races, so I should have known better. But that ride, though, that is right up there with, I mean, as far as just off the top of my head, brilliant rides, recognizing that there's nothing going on. If you think you have a horse, honestly, it's kind of what we just talked about with Bram's horse in the P Classic with Tiz Magician. You know you can get the distance. If you find yourself out there, why not? Go on with it. If you don't think anybody else can get it or can run you down, why not go on with it? And that's exactly what they did, and it almost paid off. The thing with Red King this year, I mean, I think if we're being honest, I mean, it just doesn't seem like he's in the same form that he was when he won this race last year. I mean, that's not a knock. It's just kind of calling a spade right now.
It's good that you're getting it out of the way before Billy joins us too.
I'd be curious to hear, because there's nothing, I don't want to say there's nothing obvious that would lead to the form sort of reversal, other than maybe he's 7 years old. But I if he runs his best race, he's got a chance in here at a very nice price at 11-1. I haven't seen a race really this year outside of maybe that starter allowance. But again, it's a starter allowance as opposed to Del Mar Handicap. I'd be curious to see or hear what I'm not going to hold the dirt race against him. Draw a line through that.
No, right. Yeah.
Prior to that, I'd be curious to know, maybe he's lost a step. I don't know.
Yeah. He won.
I have a story, but I'm going to wait if we get Billy on.
Yeah. Yes. If it's any story that could lead to potential chaos, we should wait for. Oh,
yeah.
Wait.
Is he here?
Wait. I see something happening.
Uh-oh.
I see something on the screen.
Oh, it's Billy Gunn. He's here anyway. Hi.
Billy.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, brother?
Well, I'm in the paddock, and it's a little difficult to hear you guys, so I don't know how much shit you've talked already.
So much.
We're 11-1, and that's like a gift. So I don't know how many people are actually watching this. I haven't tuned into the Twitter sphere.
A lot
Hey,
of people are watching.
Dan, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay. Did we win this race last year or no?
Dude, we just spent the last 12 minutes showing highlights about it and talking about it.
No. So here's the deal. Wait, I'm going to show you Kaleem Shaw. He's all dressed up. Kaleem. Good luck, guys. No, we're on live.
Hey, hi to everybody out there.
Look at that jacket.
That's awesome.
Could I get away with that jacket? No.
Wait, Billy.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the horse, I've got on the bottom of the screen right now. It's Karmathon. I know you want to talk Karmathon. KarmaForHorses.org.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
It's been unbelievable. We've raised over 120,000. TVG gave 25,000 earlier in the day. I had no idea they were doing it. And go to KarmaForHorses.org. It's all for aftercare, guys. That's what we care about is the horses. The horses first.
Yes.
You're the best, Billy. Billy,
I got a great guy here. I'm gonna get down. Wait. I'm gonna get this guy. Look at this guy. Lafitte Pinkai Jr.
Lafitte!
Greatest jockey of all time.
Thank you.
Where is it? We only see your mouth. We don't see him. Oh, there he is. There he is. Oh, he's looking sharp.
Well,
I heard he loves you.
Right,
Wait, Billy, I heard
just left Lafitte. He picked the wrong goddamn horse.
Yeah, I heard he's a big United guy.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. We beat him last year. It's like people weren't paying attention.
So, Billy, the question
what do I have
is,
to do? Like put it on a billboard or something?
Billy, the question is, we talked about this last year. You had Rispoli with the ride of a lifetime. I heard Jamie Roth saying, that was one of the greatest rides she ever seen, and that was the main reason United lost. Why is Rispoli not riding your horse?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of bad luck with him recently, and we have a guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, his name is
Yeah, we've heard of Rosario.
Uh-oh, he froze.
Uh-oh, he's frozen. We were just about to get such great content. We were thinking, owner.
I don't know if you guys heard me.
You broke up.
Oh, stop moving. Stop moving.
Wait, it sounds. Oh, wait, here he is.
I'm back. We got the opportunity.
What's up with the toothpick?
Heard of him, but he's pretty good. He wins a lot of races. So we decided to make a change.
Okay. Look, I think Rosario has won like 3 or 4 races already today. So you've got a good jockey. There's no doubt.
He's pretty good. Who is laughing? Is that Ren?
That's Ren.
Hold on. I can't even see the screen right now. Oh, Ren
That's
just
good,
dived
actually.
off the screen?
Yeah. Ren wanted to know what was up with the drama, the Rispoli.
Rosario
Rispoli
Oh,
drama.
no, it's very simple. He gone. We had to make a move. So that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to make changes.
Billy's part of my derby story when I was sick and when I had stomach flu.
Yeah.
He doesn't know this. I finally got my way to the parking lot after the races were over and my phone wasn't working. I had no reception to be able to route myself home. And I'm sitting there in the parking lot feeling like death. And I look across from me and I see Billy Koch getting into his car.
Was I nice? Did I offer you a ride home?
I sunk in my seat. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't say hi.
I'm going to go watch the race. I love you guys. Thanks for all you do. Make sure you donate to Karmathon. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Billy.
Good luck, Billy.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, Billy, never one to pull any punches. Just straight up was just like Umberto's been riding like garbage for us, so he's done.
He's done. Oh
wow, that was. I mean, Matt, Bram, thoughts? I mean, obviously, me and Bren are pretty shook.
I love him. He's great. He's fantastic. I like how he decided he fired Rispoli. That's interesting. I'd like to hear Rispoli's take on that one. I don't know if he feels the same way about that.
If we had a cleaner connection, I would have honestly asked, with Rosario up, you go through and look at Red King's PPs. You know, I say he's kind of off form. Go back to last year. His best races were when he was a lot closer, as opposed to coming from 10, 8, 12 out of it. I wonder if I'd be curious. I don't know Phil D'Amato at all, but I would be curious if there were instructions to say, you got to get him into the race earlier than that. Distance isn't going to be the thing that gets us beat. It's just if we got to make up 10 lengths on a horse like United, we're probably not going to be able to do that. So I do wonder if perhaps that's, you know, I don't want to say you're grasping at straws, but you try to find reasons to sort of understand why a horse may not be running to their peak. And maybe that's part of it. Is just, this is a horse that, again, it seems like, even go back to the Whittingham 3 starts back. You know, he was a little bit closer. And I would say, all intents and purposes, outside of that starter allowance, probably the best race that he's run this year. He was a little bit closer to the front end. I wonder if he's a little bit more aggressive out of there this time around.
I'm sorry to keep laughing. I'm reading the comments on the side about Billy's ear canal.
These people are messing around. Well, it's Chase. Chase has got no filter. He just, whatever comes to his mind, he's going to post it.
I'm going against all the favorites, although I'm a little disturbed. I'm a little disturbed because I saw my pick sort of acting up and running off a bit in the warm up, and that's the 5 Master of Foxhound.
Who do you got in this, Dan? Who do you got in this race?
My dad just chimed in. He's got to try key bots 10. I think with the entire field, 1, 4, 7, 8, 9.
The entire field. That's nice.
This is basically how we structure the ticket to the Tordjman family. I actually, Media Blitz at 25-1 is my top choice. Look, this horse. I think he's run some good races recently. He's jumping from one race to the next, jump from a 76 to 88. Rispoli hopping back on feels like a good sign. He won with them on debut. I think it's a nice stalking trip. I think the pace will be honest here. And I don't know if he'll win, but I mean, I like him in the mix. And I thought at the price, look, logically, United is the class of the field. I think United probably wins, but, you know, in terms of a betting pick, I'm going with Media Blitz. And I think an award winner can improve a little bit, the 9 horse. Bram, who you got?
It's a 2-horse race to me. It's either United or Arklow.
I'm 5'11", just so you know.
I'll go United. I know that's not going out much on a limb, but I really do think it's 2-horse race.
Okay. And 5'11", Ren, is that right?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say it before they broke.
Cool. All right. Let's enjoy it. Mar Handicap.
Field sent on their mile and 3/8 journey. Media Blitz wants the lead, is sent along from the inside. United in the gold cap right there. Red King broke well, but going to drop back. On the far side, Acclimate in the red colors now kicks on to go for the lead. Also in there is Master of Foxhounds, only 2 off the leaders. A decent pace for this kind of distance. Another one that's in that group is Award Winner. Then we come back to Astronaut. Red King broke well, dropped now 7-8 off the lead. Behind that, we have Crossfire Hurricane. Masterpiece is in behind them. Then we come back on the outside of those 2. We have Masterpiece dropped back to be second last, and last of all is Arklow. Arklow content to trail early, 12 off them. Passasan's first rhyme round and Acclimate established that lead now, has it by a length and a half. Award winners right there second. Media Blitz down at the rail. Master of Hounds is right there, only 2 off them. Here's United in the gold cap, moving up between runners. Red King is down at the rails, 6 lengths off the leaders. Up alongside Crossfire, Hurricane. On the far side is Astronaut. Then we drop back to Masterpiece the Grey. Masterpiece is 7 off the leaders, and Arklow is quite happy to trail early. They head towards the half-mile pole, and Acclimate just settled into the stride now, leads at a length. Award winners right there in second. Master of Foxhounds on the far side. Media Blitzers down at the rail. United in the gold cap, now 4 off the leader. Red King having to be ridden, but is making ground at the rail. In behind that comes Astronaut, Crossfire, Hurricane. Then we drop back to Say the Word, third last. Only 6 off the leader, though. Masterpiece the Grey, and let's see. Arklow's going to come running on the outside. Arklow gets a tap now and starts to pick off the back markers. At the top of the lane, Acclimate is the leader. Master of Foxhounds now coming to take him on. In behind that, Award winner. And on the extreme outside, we still have Arklow trying to make headway, but Acclimate's tough. He's holding on. United's coming with a late run. Astronaut in the pink colours looking to cause the upset. Masterpiece the Grey at the rail. United suddenly wide open. Astronaut in front as they run to the wire. Astronaut, desperate finish. He just gets there. Masterpiece looked like he's second. United will...
Huge numbers there. Huge numbers. And this is a horse, unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to talk about too much. Astronaut, only 8 career starts. His first at Del Mar here. Finished second in that San Juan Capistrano. That was his first graded stakes try, but he hasn't finished worse than second since switching over to Sheriffs 5 starts ago. 24-1, Victor Espinoza, Sheriffs Espinoza. We've seen this before. Man, and then the runner up as well at 20. The 6 held, right? Was it 22 in second?
Did Max's ticket have the 6 also, or no? I know he had 10 over what? 10 over what?
Oof,
I'm gonna go back and look. No,
right.
he doesn't have it. No,
he didn't have the 6. Did he?
No,
it's
10,
6, 7.
10 over 1.
He's got everything but the 6.
9.
He's got everything but 6.
No. But hey, I'm still going to give him top. I'm still going to give him 10 on top. Come on.
If you're going to take all of them, why do you toss any of them?
So this is a conversation we have all the time. A conversation we have every single
time.
Why
toss any of them if you're going to do the other 10 horses?
And why always use the favorites? Why always use why not throw in another long shots?
Listen, I know we didn't get to talk about Astronaut much beforehand. I don't regret it. We got to see Billy's ear for 13 minutes, and I actually think that was good streaming video, in my opinion. So sorry for those of you that we did not give the full Astronaut attention, but Billy's ear was stealing the show, and we wanted to keep it that way.
Did Max have a win bet on him in addition to his exotic play?
If I know him well, I would say no.
No.
Yeah. So Surya did ask.
Oh, Jesse made a nice comment. Jesse.
No.
Let's not use that one. Let's not use that one.
It's okay.
Jesse, thank you for your insight. That's wonderful that you chimed in with that.
The viewers know nothing of what you say, Dan. So let's
Jesse,
just move
go to
on
bed.
Astronaut.
Jesse, go to bed.
Go to bed. So this is look, this trifecta, I believe, is 10, 6, 7. So that's 24-1, 22-1, 10-1. I mean, geez, what does this pay?
Huge.
Like 3,500 for $1?
Yeah, you figured the exacta of 10 over 6 is going to be for a deuce over 900.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a massive try. The race itself, I mean, I don't know what you want to do with that. The most interesting part of the race to me is Masterpiece, because this was the horse that I'd heard from a million people that Chad Brown loved this thing. and thought that he was going to be the next superstar in the barn. And I kept watching his races and I go, where is it? I don't see it.
Yeah.
And then he goes out there from Michael McCarthy and he runs the way that he did here. It makes me think one of two things. Again, it's really difficult to move a horse up from Chad, not to discredit Michael McCarthy at all, but long distance turf horse moving up from Chad, kind of hard to do. And Astronaut, to your point, Dan, I mean, this is a horse that from a figure standpoint is really difficult to have, period.
Yeah.
It makes me think, and go back and watch a couple of the rides. I think there were some questionable moves. I don't know how good this race is. Just flat out. I don't know that this is going to be one that we look back at in November and say, oh, that was the key race.
Well, they have noticed with United. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ren, just to a point we talked about earlier, not only maybe Red King not taking a step forward this year, maybe not being the same horse, maybe United not being the same exact horse.
I know, I wouldn't knock United, only because the thing with United, it seems like he'll put up a big performance and then he regresses a little bit. And then he'll put up a big performance and then maybe he'll regress a bit. He can put together, back-to-back big performances on occasion, but it seems like he's a horse that it's a big one and then a little bit back. And then
also
his last 4 races, he's won 2 of them, and he's had 2 massive clunkers in him. So that makes 3 of 5 now. He's a handicapper's dream and nightmare all at the same time. He's either going to blow out the field, or he's not going. He's going to no-show you, and you get a result like this. So, but you're guessing. Now,
if you can stick around for the replay, you'll see why.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And any opportunity
happened in this, I missed that.
It just wasn't a very clean trip. I think with the clean trip, he wins this race. He only lost by 3/4 of a length.
Yeah.
No, any opportunity to keep Bram on later than we told him. We're definitely...
No, then we know what. Just go back and find your whatever your streaming service is. You can watch it back.
No. We're going to say, Bram, you can stay on for 10 more minutes, right?
Oh, OMG, Dan. OMG. 2021. It's no different.
Bram, do you have a game tomorrow or like what?
No, we played last night. Our team played last night. Yeah.
Look, I don't want to be the reason that the voice of the football team, is not in shape. If you got to dump, you got to dump.
Here's the deal. I'm about to lose power and internet and everything in the next 24 hours. Like I need you. I need as much of this as I can get right now. I need more of this. I want to extend. Bram's gonna understand. Bram, we'll kick in an extra $25.
Sure you will. Thanks. Oh yeah, and thanks again for including me in that secret pick 5. I'm so pumped.
It was only a personal pick.
I'm glad you lost.
It was a personal pick 4 that just completely collapsed. By the way, real quick, while we're waiting for this replay, Arklow is 7 years old. He's not a gelding. Is there a reason he's not retired?
Well, he's still making money is the short answer.
Yeah, but Gunpowder could have kept making money, right? I mean, a lot of horses could have kept making money.
I love Flo. We're going to have to go back and watch that one. I mean, it's, that was part of those are the two that if you're going to look at some rides and some decisions that were made. And again, I can't say anything. I don't have the bravery to do what these men and women do on a day-to-day basis, but objectively, we sit here and that's part of the gig. You got to sort of just purely analyze decisions. There was no speed at all in the race, and we tried to go 10 wide. That's not a recipe for success.
I'll be honest, my eyes were not on Arklow, so I didn't see what he did. But when I looked up at at one point, he was like, second to last, like 4 wide. I'm like, all right.
He was purposefully way back. And I think to Matt's point, like the pace did not dictate him doing that. Like he should have been closer. I know he's a closer, but he should have been closer and he came way, 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 way too late. But again, this is one of those where I think he thinks he's got 1 horse to beat in this. It doesn't realize he's got 3. So
if they can spin him back at Kentucky Downs again, he'll probably be 3-1. In a field that he should be 6-5 against. That's an opportunity. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Surya, by the way, is emphatic about the fact that Astronaut was the play. And so look, we give you full credit.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So look, I mean, if you had Astronaut, let's look at the payouts here. The dollar exacta, Matt called it. I mean, it's $458, so almost $1,000 for 2. Your
dollar
try-
prize almost $5,000. Look at that.
That's crazy.
$5,000 for $1.
Almost.
I think that was the sound of my dad just hitting the floor.
I feel so bad for him because, like, if you like a horse like that, good enough to put him on top, why don't you put a little win money on him too? I'm sorry, Max, but
And it's been 35 years. I've been telling him this stuff. He ain't listening. I've been telling him.
Hell of a handicapping job, though.
yes, it
Hell
was.
of a handicapping job.
And I'm a little mad at myself because I'm looking at my horse was awfully. I think he finished last. He ran his race, but he finished last. But like I said, he did act up in the warm up, so I'm gonna use that as my excuse. But Astronaut, if you look at that last race going the 1 3/4, the horse obviously wants distance. You're by Quality Road, and your dam is by Acatenego, who won the German Derby. that horse is like stamina, distance, and he had lost the whip in that race, so he had the excuse for finishing 3 3/4 lengths off. So that was a sort of like a sneaky, this horse could jump up play that was overlooked by everybody but Max and maybe a few other people. Here's
the replay, and I will say, Acclimate also did a nice job of getting to the front, and they did a nice job slowing things down. Acclimate, ran a good race. I think this is what this horse is. If he gets things his own way, he'll finish in the money in a graded stakes race, or he might occasionally win one.
To me, the two that you want to keep an eye on are the favorites. So you're looking at the yellow hat with the yellow V on the blue sleeves right now in the middle, number 4, and you're looking at the 8, the pink saddle towel at the back of the pack right now.
Yeah.
Pay no mind to the chiclets. They're wrong.
The chicklets are never wrong, Matt.
Those are the two from the obvious ones from a sort of trippish standpoint, if you will. Because Arklow, that's about as close to the rail as he's going to get from here on. And it's one thing to watch it live with Pratt aboard the 4. It seemed like either there wasn't a hole when he needed there to be one, or he didn't go for it when there was one. But he was kind of bottled up in behind that little trio right there. He's boxed in right now.
Yes, he got bottled up, and you'll see it doesn't get any easier as they make the turn here, and he still got close anyway. Still, I don't know. You have to make your decisions, and I guess you don't assume that the kind of traffic he was going to run into, but there it is.
That slight hesitation, I know it may not seem like much, and I'm sure in the beauty of trip handicapping, some people will say certain pieces are more meaningful than others. To have to wait at that juncture in the race when everyone is all out going for home, and you've got to just tap the brakes or just basically idle for a moment as opposed to actually going all out. That can be the difference between winning and losing. And again, he only lost by 3/4 of a length. It's not like he was embarrassed in here. I think if he had clean run, I think he's at least right there with Astronaut. And this is 2 weeks in a row. I feel bad. I'm not trying to take anything away from the winners. Congratulations. Job well done. I do think circumstances may have played into that. The Arklow thing, I don't know what to tell you. That's.
Did you see Arklow on the gallop out?
Oh no, not the gallop out.
You don't want to gallop out. You don't want a gallop out point.
I'm not a gallop out person. I'm just not. I'm not. It depends. I won't say never. I won't say never. But I'm generally not a gallop out person. And
at a mile and 3/8. At a mile and 3/8. How much longer are you going to go?
It's fair. It's fair. But hey, look, if they could send him 2.5 miles, nobody's touching Arklow. Nobody could touch Arklow. Look, Arklow, now that I've said, should they retire him? He's definitely winning the Breeders' Cup Turf. So just book it. It's going to happen. And to your point, Matt, and to, Chase's point here, he said Arklow needs undulation. Send him to Kentucky Downs. Yeah, no, he's going to go to Kentucky Downs. He's going to win a race. He's going to show up at the Breeders' Cup, and he's probably going to finish in the top 3. And that's what he's had an incredible career. It's just you look back on his career and what the heck was this race?
Right here. We're
what is this?
7-8 path behind no pace. So he ran 1.5 miles and 1 mile and 3/8.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you have think of the horse who you think has the best turn of foot ever.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. That's a very now, having said that, by the way, he's just outside of Masterpiece, who is going to absolutely kick like a mule right now. So I just that's a really difficult. And again, I can't tell you how much I love Flo, but that's just a brutal trip for any horse. I don't care how good you are. Ran 1.5 miles in 1 3/8 race.
Bram, could you have done better than that?
No, but I take Matt's point that he made a huge mistake. So I share in the criticism.
I like how you put it in layman's terms, because Matt wouldn't just come out and say it. He was just like,
not a mistake. Again, I'm not in a position that I can sit there and say, X, Y, and Z. It's just acknowledging, ran a long way.
It's a bad ride. It's a bad ride in the same way that Red King had no shot in this race. It's fine. It's true. It's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. And the trifecta left would be if Matt would talk some about Lafitte Pinkai, that would bring the circle complete.
I kind of felt like they weren't planning to win when I noticed that Billy Koch was wearing a polo shirt.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good call. Always got to look at the wardrobe, look at the outfit.
But I was so focused on his ear canal that it took me a while to realize the collar was a polo shirt collar. But these I don't think we have a turf winner here. That's for sure.
Agreed.
Really?
No. And I would also say that yes, Mishriff could come over here if they want and win potentially win the turf. But I would really love to see him try the Classic. Why not in a year like this when he's already proven to be so versatile? And then on top of it, it's kind of fun. I know it was synthetic at the time, but his dam sire is Raven's Pass.
Mm.
So come on, try it. 1.25 miles is probably going to be better, right?
Mm.
I agree with everything you just said right there.
Thank you.
This is a good betting, just betting basics. If you like a horse at over 20 to 1,
That is a great bet, Surya.
Yeah, that's.
Man loves
to be honest,
Surya. He shows every comment from Surya. He loves Surya.
Did you see that Surya is connecting with us at like 3:30 in the morning? Did you see
Surya is also all about. I believe that's for peace, right? That's peace.
Yeah. So it's all good vibes from Surya.
Yes.
So here's the deal. It's 10:27 p.m. here on the East Coast. We are just wrapping up the card at Del Mar. This has been Breeders' Cup Live, Road to the Longines Classic, another awesome show. Matt and I have the distinct pleasure next weekend of being live at Saratoga.
I'm so jealous. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Well, yeah, no, we're still working out some of the logistics.
My boy, Essential Quality.
Essential Quality will be there. It's Big Travers Day at Saratoga, but there are also 3 win-and-you're-in races for the Breeders' Cup, so we'll be at Saratoga next week, streaming live from there. In the meantime, if you follow on ABR channels, you can see Ren tomorrow covering the Queen's Plate, the biggest day of the year. Here.
I'm scared to put my ear up.
Bram wins tonight. He wins tonight with that move. And Bram, since you're not doing any of this stuff, since you're on mute, by the way, you got to unmute yourself. Since you're not
doing, wanted to make sure we didn't hear the ear,
Yeah.
We would have heard the
trying to get my ear into my webcam. It's I've never done before, but that's a new pandemic. Yeah, it's a new pandemic. Check off that box. Got my ear on my webcam.
Will we have heard the ocean?
Oh.
So where people can catch you in the next couple of days, since you're not going to be with us doing horse racing stuff?
Well, I think we're doing a show Monday, right, Dan? Isn't that happening? Yes.
Oh, we're doing Monday, but nobody's really alive on Monday.
Got it. Okay. Well, next Saturday I'll be calling the preseason finale of the Washington football team and the Baltimore Ravens out at FedEx Field. So psyched to finally get through the preseason and get to the regular season, and then I'll see you very, very soon for one of these things. Right? Isn't that right?
Yeah. Lean in. Wait, when is the actual regular season opener?
September 12th, Los Angeles Chargers come across the country to play Washington. We got an interesting first week, Dan. We got the Thursday night game in week 2. So we got Chargers on Sunday, Giants Thursday night, both at home.
Are you coming to New York for that?
It's here from DC.
And when's your first travel week?
First travel weeks after that, we go to Buffalo. And then, I'll see you in New York. It's the last game of the regular season, Washington and New York. So that'll be in January. So, get out your winter coat. And maybe the pandemic will be over by then. We'll see. We'll see.
Looking forward to
good luck with your hurricane, by the way, all you people in the Northeast. Good luck with
Thank you.
That didn't sound is that sincere? It sounded a little facetious.
Yeah, it didn't really sound that heartfelt, but anyway, Matt and I are like in the eye of the storm. And in all likelihood, Ren, tomorrow it's going to just be you, JD, and Ellis hosting the show because I'm.
Oh my gosh, that could be.
So
I don't know what that could be. The possibilities are endless. So I would highly recommend y'all tune in.
Get ready for that. Amazingly, we still have like over 100 people watching. Again, we had massive viewers on the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, take that, Dan. Can't wait for Monday's show, Dan.
Okay? I watch you guys on Mondays, by the way. I watch you guys.
All right.
I'll admit I stopped listening once you talk about other sports. Start talking about other sports. I tune out.
We noticed that sort of steep decline. There you go. We got to give more ear. Yeah. My tooth and Bram's ear. Like we could make this happen. Matt, where can people catch you aside from Saratoga next week? Where can people catch you on a weekly basis?
Yeah, Twitter at Bernier_Matt. The podcast is out every Monday or Tuesday. It's usually up Monday nights, but sometimes tech. Whatever. And then also NBCSportsEdge.com. I believe they've actually changed the URL, but now helping out with the Premier League. So we've got that going on. And hopefully in the next few months, we'll get back into the NHL. So got all that over there. And horse racing, obviously. I mean, all that stuff's going on too. So.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that, Matt. Premier League.
Yeah, relatively new. I had to. I was glued into the Crystal Palace Brentford game this morning, writing a recap about that, and then tomorrow morning is Manchester United. So I'm looking forward to checking that out.
And Matt, what do you think of Matt without a beard? What do you think about that?
He looks like he looks so young. He looks so innocent.
Yeah, that's
it's adorable.
Well, that's kind of been the common consensus has been I look like a child again, and. I did it without telling my wife, and I came out of the bathroom the other morning, and she said, "What have you done? What have you done?" And I know she was, tongue in cheek, but still, it's.
No, I think it was good.
I'm amazed at the amount of people in my own family that look at it and go, "What are you doing?" I get other people, I get strangers that go, "Yeah, not bad."
Yeah,
people
that
good.
Go, "What are you doing?" So every once in a while, you gotta be able to breathe again.
By the way, I just got a text message from Billy.
Oh no. What's it say?
I can't
read it. I can't read it.
Hold on. It went dark. Hold on.
Rough trip.
Maybe if Rispoli was aboard, it wouldn't have been.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. We'll pick this up next time. We'll be live next Saturday at Saratoga. Also next week, the premiere of Breeders' Cup en Vivo. So that's Breeders' Cup Challenge Series races in Spanish, streaming live on ABR and Breeders' Cup channels.
That's cool.
Starting Saturday night with the Pat O'Brien. We're back at Del Mar. You got to check that out. It's a really cool series. It's kicking off next week, so check that out, Breeders' Cup en Vivo. Ren, do you want to do a little – you usually give the little parting shot. Go ahead, do it.
My parting shot, actually, if I can just take it to a serious note real quick and just say, hey, we understand, we've had a lot of fun during the show. I know it's been a lot of laughs and, just watching and talking about horse racing, hanging out with our friends. I want you to know that while we're doing this, it doesn't mean that we also aren't considerate of what is happening in the world right now. We know there's a very a devastating situation going on. Hearts and prayer, our love and prayers go out to everybody affected, and we are with you. And while we're doing all this stuff, we do not take for granted that we're able to be here and having fun with with our friends and doing what we love to do. So please do not think that we're not keeping you in our hearts and minds at this, as we're doing this.
All right, Ren, you're the best. Appreciate you bringing it back to center for us. That'll do it for us. Breeders' Cup Live. I think we should take a look back, Greg, if you're about to hit the last video. Let's take a look back at 2018. We've been talking about the Breeders' Cup Turf so much. Let's look back at the Breeders' Cup 2018 Turf. Let's end with that video. That's a fun one. See you next time.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Turf. And they're into the stretch, and the two fillies are 1-2, Magical and Enable. And they kick on from Sadler's Joy. It's Enable on the outside, in the center of the turf course. She has taken the lead, and she's pulling away from Magical, who continues to battle her, though. It's these two, 1-2 down to the finish. Enable and Magical, and they're well clear of the others. Racing Royalty, Enable and Frankie Dettori. The arc winner